Hey everyone, welcome to the Royce Reports. I'm your host, Royce. And on this channel, we talk mostly Xbox related news, but I do dabble in other gaming related topics and reviews. So if you think you might be interested, then you're in the right place. And be sure to hit that subscribe button. And today, we're going to be talking about Xbox potentially having an event, maybe early next year, and a brand new studio that they've built, maybe for that exact reason. And to talk about some updates to Fable, the game that I'm most excited about. So, with that, let's talk about it. Starting off, we're going to be talking about this brand new studio that is rumored to be coming. Now, this was posted on Twitter, but immediately after they posted it, it was taken down. But don't worry, with the sleuths of the internet and capable of taking screenshots of literally everything, that's what we have is a screenshot that somebody has. And let's look into it. Todd Kalmans stated, "Spent the day with the team at our recently completed Xbox studio. Really excited about what we're going to be able to accomplish in this facility. Still has that new car smell." Now, this was promptly taken down after they tweeted it. But something else that's really interesting is someone captured this tweet and posted on it and actually tagged Jez Corden in it, saying, "Y'all believe this can be Xbox's Nintendo Direct style production team?" And Jez responded with a smiley face. So yeah, he responded with a smiley face. Now, he didn't have to respond at all, but maybe he knows something that we don't, which is Xbox is probably listening to our feedback, which is, hey, we kind of want an XO style Nintendo Direct Sony State of Play, like direct of some sort. We want a Xbox presence throughout the year and not necessarily just one and done at E3 or the Summer Game Fest. Now, has Xbox been silent throughout the rest of the year? No, they did show up at Xbox Game or at the Tokyo Game Show, but they were not present at the biggest event of the year, which is the Game Awards. Now, believe me, I've already had a discussion about this. I've already shared my thoughts on them not being there and present at the most important time to be present, but maybe this is because they actually have something in store for us. Now, it sounds like I am just trying to cope, and it sounds a lot like me being a fanboy and just kind of having that, you know, my blinders on and like, oh no, I can't see Microsoft for what they are, which is not present. But I do have some hope. I do think that this is a sign going forward that, hey, you know what? We do need a presence. We do need to show off what we have coming the first half of the year, and we're going to do that. And I hope that this comes sooner rather than later, because a lot of fans are pretty angry right now. So that is some interesting news. I don't know if you guys actually share that same thought or that same sentiment, but it's really interesting to see this studio come and be developed. Now, I don't really know necessarily if this is a studio that is directly in hands with something like XO, but if you look at the guy who tweeted it initially, which is that Todd Kalman, if you go to his Twitter page, you will see that he is a senior producer at Xbox Marketing, and he even shared about a month ago, to commemorate 3 years since XO19. Here's a look at what it's like behind the scenes during a live Xbox broadcast. And he retweeted one of his old tweets from behind the scenes at XO19. So he obviously has some expertise when it comes down to shows. So maybe that is exactly what this is. I could also potentially think that it might be related to maybe those studios that are like the middleman between these other studios that are adapting some of Xbox's IP into video game adaptations or into TV adaptations as well as movie adaptations, like we saw with Gears of War at Netflix, Grounded at Netflix, and Fallout over there at Amazon. I don't know. I'm just throwing my 2 cents out there. You know, I'm not a fucking leaker. All right. Calm the fuck down. I'm not a leaker, but if I was, I'd probably wouldn't last very long. So it probably is what everyone's saying it is, which is a potential Xbox Direct, or maybe the return of XO. But we'll see. And I hope, like I said, I hope we see it sooner rather than later. And I kind of want to talk about the next thing, which is Fable. Fable seems to be having some issues. So Jez Corden actually went out and said some stuff about Fable, and this is a story from Xfire. And Fable is being delayed by Microsoft's game engine policy. The company reportedly has a policy of using only internal game engines to develop its first-party titles, which honestly is not true, because we see it with Gears of War, and Gears of War operates on Unreal Engine. And there's also other games within the Xbox first party that are also using Unreal Engine. They went and they talked to Jez Corden about the internal delays that have been going on with Fable, and if it's because of the fact that Microsoft forces their workers to use the proprietary engines. It's hard to know for sure where the difficulty lies for Microsoft and its first-party games output. Some have blamed Microsoft's internal rules around contract work as causing unnecessary churn that sees projects lose key staff on a higher than usual basis. I've been told internal politics over engine use has also led to development problems in games like Fable and Halo Infinite, as Microsoft sought to use its own tools rather than fully featured industry standards like Unreal Engine, which further exasperates problems around training contractors only to lose them mid-project. This is a very interesting conversation because there's a lot to unwrap here, and I know it's a very small blurb here, but you look at what Playground Games is doing, and Playground Games is known for Forza Horizon. They have utilized the Forza Tech engine since they've been a company. So they're very, very familiar with it. Now, that's where it causes concerns. Is this Forza Tech engine designed to be used for racing games able to handle an RPG? Now, that is a different beast, and I think that if anyone is going to be able to achieve it, it's going to be Playground Games or Turn 10, because they know that engine better than anyone else, because they developed the engine and they have worked on the engine for years and years and years. So these guys know what they're doing when it comes to these engines. But that's the thing, is this engine capable of handling something like an RPG? We see with what's going on with Flipspace and Halo Infinite. A lot of the developers came out saying that a lot of the things that are easy to do, like fix the menu or go and add custom playlists or add certain different modes, is easy if it was on a different engine. But because it's Slipspace, there's a lot of difficulty around the UI elements of it, and it wasn't developed for that kind of mindset and that type of tool set. It was developed to make and have Halo feel the way it is, and Halo feels better than ever. So I don't want to knock the engine and say that it's worthless, but that engine was developed specifically for use on Halo Infinite. And then what's crazy is the guy that developed that engine actually left the company. He's no longer working there. So there goes the expert on that engine, right? And now there's rumors that that Halo is going to be shifting over to to Unreal Engine 5, and with one of the next major updates, which is still rumor and still hearsay. But if that is the case, that does show that these people who are developing these games are having trouble with their internal engine, because these engines aren't covered to do specific tasks like other engines are. And it also brings in the fact that when you're trying to hire people, they don't know how to use those things because they don't have any experience with it. And so hiring people and training them is going to take more time and cost more, because of the fact that they have to pretty much go in knowing nothing in order to use these tools. So I can see where the dilemma is coming from. But I don't know, man. This is such a bummer news to hear that the reason why it's taking so long is because of the engine, or them not being able to hire people, or you see them still hiring. Just like recently, they wanted to hire a concept artist for Fable. A concept artist. what does that tell you? That tells you that the game is not even anywhere near being finished. So I thought this game was going to come out 2024. I now think this game is probably going to come out 2025, 2026 at the earliest, which is a huge bummer because if you watch my last video, it was my #1 on the most excited Xbox projects in development that we know of. And I'm a huge Fable fan, just so you know. I love Fable. I love what they do with the franchise, and I know a lot of people are wary of it because of the promises that were made for these games, like planting a tree and watching it grow, and having these important relationships with the NPCs that is different and changes with everybody, and all these promises that never were. But I still love the franchise for what it is. And when it comes down to Fable, there is no RPG that actually understands that humor, that understands the world, and gives you the choice of being evil and gives you the choice of being good, and having choice to actually matter, and having the world change due to the events that you decide. There is no other game that does that. And I think that if the guys over there at Playground Games learn anything from making Forza, I hope that it's not about the way the game looks. We all know how Fable looks. It's not the prettiest looking game, but it's about the inner workings, and that's what's important. And I know that the Forza guys, if they know anything, it's the inner workings of the games, and how that's the most important thing, is the feel of it. Because yeah, you could play these racing games all day, but if it doesn't feel good, then it doesn't matter. And that's what's so awesome about the Forza games, is that they feel like unlike any other game, any other racing game on the market, and it just feels so great to handle. And I want that same feeling on these Fable games. I want the team to take their time. I understand how difficult it is to develop on an engine that's dedicated to only one thing, which is racing. So maybe they should just change it. I mean, if it's going to take this long anyways. But that's the thing. They also hired Eidos Montreal to help them out and kind of do the heavy lifting like they did with Crystal Dynamics and Perfect Dark over there with the Initiative. So they're not alone, but they're still hiring for a lot of important roles, in my opinion. I think just last year they hired a writer to write to write the game, which is like, sounds like it's far off to me. Oh, fuck, man. I want this game to come out. I want to see it. But that brings me to something else, which is Matt Booty. Matt Booty has talked about seeing this game. There's stuff I wish I could share and show, because some of the things I've seen are just so encouraging. Booty said of Fable's development, there's a danger sometimes that you don't want to have the RPG team go make a racing game, or vice versa. You don't want the shooter team to make a kid's building block game. You can get in trouble there. But Playground has a great technology base. They've got a passion for the IP, and they've just got such a demonstrated commitment to craft and quality. During some of the first reviews, I shared a little skepticism that, look, I feel like we're kind of going out on a limb here, but they've since put that to rest. I'm excited for everybody to see it. That's another thing, is that when they showed him the gameplay of Fable, he even stated that, why don't we just show this off? This looks awesome. It looks like this will sell to a lot of people. And they said, hold your fucking horses, Matt Booty. We are going to show it when we want to show it. So maybe they're just not ready. And I hope that it is progressing just smoothly. But I do trust these guys. I do trust Playground Games, and I know that, hey, you know what? Good games take time. Now, I'm not going to go and share that quote that everyone always talks about the delayed game versus, a game that's rushed. But I really want Playground Games to prove themselves to everybody else, that they're not just a racing team, that they can do other things like Fable. They're the ones that went up to Microsoft and said, hey, we want to do Fable. We want to go and prove ourselves, and we have the idea. That's there. And if they are gonna do it, I hope that they take the time that's necessary. And they're also from the UK, so I think they understand that kind of humor. and I hope that they can bring that forward. And I just don't want it to be a modern RPG. You know what I mean by that is I just don't want them to take inspiration from things like The Witcher or things like Elder Scrolls and use that as their template. I want them to use things like Monty Python. Like, I want them to go back to the original Fable games, talk to Peter Molyneux, even though he's fucking nuts, and see like, hey, what was your trajectory of this franchise and what would you like to see? I just want them to just do a good job. That's it. What do you guys think? Do you think that this is bad news for the Fable team, that they are still hiring for important parts and that they are being technically forced to use Forza tech, which I don't really understand because there's other developers underneath the Xbox first party that are also using Unreal Engine or id. So I don't really know about that. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you guys for stopping by. I'll be seeing you guys on the next one. And remember, take it easy.